When people think of great naval empires, they think of Britain, Spain, Portugal. But centuries before any European fleet ruled the seas, another civilization already controlled the Indian Ocean. Its ships crossed thousands of miles. Its armies invaded distant kingdoms. Its merchants became incredibly wealthy. Yet today, almost nobody remembers its name. In southeastern India, along the sweeping plains of the Kaveri Delta, a regional Tamil dynasty laid the physical foundations of their future empire. This fertile river plain, watered by complex networks of canals, produced a reliable agricultural surplus. This grain surplus funded a professional army, sustained an administrative bureaucracy, and paid for massive stone monuments. In 848 CE, a leader named Vijayalaya Chola captured the city of Thanjavur, initiating a medieval resurgence that unified the region. While early royal genealogies often blend history with myth, surviving stone inscriptions confirm that this rich agrarian base provided the essential resources for state expansion. Long before conquering the seas, the Cholas mastered the land. This domestic foothold expanded under Aditya I, who exploited the decaying authority of the rival Pallava and Pandya kingdoms. In 897, Aditya defeated the Pallava sovereign Aparajita, absorbing the key territory of Tondaimandalam into the growing Chola state. By the early 10th century, Parantaka I marched further south, subjugating the Pandya capital of Madurai and launching early campaigns across the ocean into Sri Lanka. This gradual expansion was not an overnight maritime revolution, but a methodical, land-based consolidation of agricultural wealth and military manpower. With each successive conquest, 3 generations of rulers reshaped a vulnerable river valley principality into a dominant mainland powerhouse, ready to project its strength outward across the open waters. When Rajaraja Chola I ascended the throne in 985 for a reign that lasted until 1014, he turned this consolidated land power into an offensive maritime state. To build an expeditionary fleet, Rajaraja fundamentally restructured the empire's domestic administration. He ordered a massive cadastral land assessment, organized territories into precise administrative districts called Valenadus, and channeled agricultural taxes and Kaveri river irrigation surpluses directly into state-directed shipyards. Along the Coromandel coast, shipwrights used native timber and flexible coconut fiber rigging to construct deep-sea hulls, timing military expeditions and food provisioning strictly with the seasonal shifts of the monsoon winds. This system differed from a permanent modern navy with a standing admiralty. Instead, it operated as an adaptive force that requisitioned merchant vessels and mobilized soldiers under army generals for targeted seasonal campaigns. The strength of this mobilization was proven around 988 at the port of Kandalur on the Malabar coast, where Rajaraja's forces destroyed a rival Chera fleet. Soon after, coordinated land and sea operations secured the conquest of northern Sri Lanka, serving as evidence of combined forces rather than an indicator of specialized warships. While modern accounts often declare this the world's most powerful navy, historical records show its true strength. It relied on an unmatched capacity to deploy agrarian wealth and project military force across open water when seasonal winds favored invasion, rather than maintaining permanent ocean dominance. A highly organized commercial ecosystem sustained the empire's maritime reach. Along the Coromandel coast, ports like Nagapattinam operated as central gateways for global exchange. Here, trade was managed by powerful merchant guilds, most notably the Ayavoli 500, the Managramam, and the Nana Desi. These associations functioned like corporate entities, providing merchants with credit, ship maintenance, intelligence, and even private armed security. They orchestrated the transport of valuable cargoes, moving Indian textiles, regional spices, aromatics, metals, and Chinese ceramics across the ocean. The entire system synchronized with the seasonal monsoon winds, utilizing a strict calendar that dictated commercial departures and returns. While these merchant networks established permanent settlements overseas, they operated independently of Chola provincial rule. Instead, the empire leveraged this commercial wealth at home. By collecting customs duties, harbor fees, and port taxes, the crown integrated this vast merchant network directly into the state's financial core, transforming oceanic commerce into imperial power. In 1025, Rajendra Chola I leveraged this accumulated state capacity to launch an unprecedented long-distance strike across the Bay of Bengal. His target was Srivijaya, a wealthy Southeast Asian maritime polity positioned directly along the commercially important trade routes between India and China. Sailing over 1,500 kilometers, the Chola fleet struck coastal centers in a rapid, coordinated campaign. Poetic stone inscriptions on the outer walls of the Brihadisvara temple cataloged the targets, specifically naming Panay, the capital of Palembang, and the strategic port of Kadaram. These records claim absolute victory, culminating in the capture of the Srivijayan sovereign, Sangrama Vijayotungavarman, alongside his gold-laden palace and royal regalia. Transporting and provisioning troops across such vast distances of open ocean presented massive logistical challenges, requiring the coordination of thousands of soldiers and supply vessels. Yet the exact tactical reality of this oceanic crossing remains obscured. Fleet size, ship designs, troop numbers, and battle tactics are not securely known. Modern reconstructions of the specific invasion routes and naval maneuvers are based entirely on historical inference rather than direct surviving documentation. The surviving evidence demonstrates an exceptional expeditionary raid, not a permanent occupation of Sumatra, total control of the Malacca Strait, or a lasting Chola colony. This high-stakes campaign functioned as a sudden, devastating strike that temporarily fractured Srivijayan prestige, disrupted their commercial monopoly, and opened the sea lanes for Tamil merchants. With the sea lanes cleared, the focus shifted from short-term military raids to a vast, peaceful trade network stretching across the Indian Ocean to Song, China. In 1077, Kulotunga Chola I dispatched an embassy of 72 merchants to the Song court, securing formal trade privileges. This was not an empire of territorial colonies. Instead, Tamil merchants built independent commercial and religious bases in foreign ports. In Quanzhou, archaeological remains of a local Shiva temple, along with bilingual stone inscriptions and South Indian ceramics, confirm a permanent Tamil merchant presence. Through these distant outposts and diplomatic missions, the Cholas linked the Indian Ocean into a unified Asian economic zone, converting prestige and trade into sustainable wealth. The tangible evidence of this wealth stood concrete in stone. Completed around 1010 under Rajaraja Chola I, the Brihadisvara temple at Thanjavur rose as a monumental administrative hub. Later, Rajendra Chola I established a new imperial capital at Gangai Konda Cholapuram to mirror this architectural ambition. These massive temples were not passive monuments to religious devotion, but active state institutions. They organized regional land and labor, managed grain storage, distributed payments, and conducted local administration. Surviving temple inscriptions record detailed endowments naming specific officials, artisans, and maintenance crews. This monumental building reflected a broad administrative capacity fueled by a thriving agricultural and maritime economy, rather than a simple ledger of direct naval plunder. Chola decline was a gradual process spanning the 12th and 13th centuries. Central authority fractured, making the coordination of distant territories impossible without permanent overseas administrative outposts. At home, a resurgent Pandya dynasty reclaimed its ancestral lands, while other peninsular powers pressured the borders. Shifting global trade networks redirected maritime commerce away from the Coromandel coast toward the Malabar ports, where Arab merchants assumed control of the sea lanes. Deprived of imperial revenue and port taxes, the dynasty collapsed, culminating in the 1279 deposition of Rajendra III, ending the main imperial line. Granite inscriptions, exquisite bronze deities, and Tamil temple architecture across Southeast Asia preserved the physical reality of Chola reach long after the last king fell in 1279. While modern maritime memory remains dominated by European voyages, these stone archives reveal a highly organized Asian seafaring system that functioned independently of Western influence. The enduring footprint of Tamil merchant guilds across the Indian Ocean offers clear evidence that global naval and commercial power did not originate in Europe alone, establishing South India as a foundational center of global maritime history. By anchoring naval power to trade and temple wealth, the Cholas proved global seafaring wasn't born in Europe. Their legacy demands we look beyond Western horizons. History isn't lost. It's waiting to be rediscovered. Like and subscribe to Lost Empires for more stories of forgotten civilizations.